And let's get started now. This afternoon, a crunch meeting is underway by the Inter-Ministerial Committee on small-scale mining to decide whether or not to lift the 9-month ban on illegal mining in Ghana. Government in October last year extended what was then a 6-month prohibition by 3 months and promised to lift it at the end of January this year. Legitimate small-scale miners have expressed displeasure about the directive, which has left them jobless over the period. JoyNews' Latif Idris caught up with the Lands and Natural Resources Minister John Peter Amewu and asked him about where government stands on the ban at the moment.
What we normally witness in a launch of program. This program is going to be launched by the President, the multi-sectoral mining integration project, and that's going to be on the 9th. It's going to happen at 10 o'clock at the University of Ghana with stakeholders across the sector. The project is largely funded by the Australian government. It was very key right down from the design of the program, and they were key, in most of the content together with other partners. So that's what we're trying to see. And as you are aware, the MMIP, it's a project, it's a 5-year project, which is going to run alongside to address some of these difficulties that we have in the small-scale sector. What is new? It's bringing in some level of technology and also a project management approach. This is the first time we're using project management to address Galamsey issues. So it's coming with deliverables and time-related issues by using project management technique. It's largely a technological-driven, concept with applications of drones, satellite imagery, tracking devices over a selected area. I'm of the view, and I think that the framers are concentrating somewhere around Eastern region as a starting point of the project. As it's based on demonstration, and if it's successful, of course, which we believe it will, we're going to roll it across the country.
At UMAT last year, you brought together stakeholders to get the buy-in of the various stakeholders so that we can implement this successfully. Would you say that with the final document we have, which will be launched on the 9th, did you get the necessary buy-in you needed?
Precisely. It takes more than a year to design this project document with buy-in from all the necessary stakeholders. So most of the concerns raised when we gathered at UMAT, of course, those concerns were factored and then incorporated into the project document. So I think largely 80 to 90%, most of those concerns have been addressed, and we're looking forward for its implementation. Yeah.
We are in February. We expected the ban on small-scale mining to be lifted today.
I know this question.
What is the position of government and your ministry?
Government is, of course, is on course for the program that the President has put forward. I had a meeting last week with the Small Scale Association. I'm meeting their General Secretary, Godwin Ama. So we are talking, we are in close contact, and something good definitely will come up. And we are in talk with the Small Scale Association.
How soon?
Even it's likely I'm meeting Godwin either today. I'm supposed to have a meeting with him at 2 o'clock. So we want to finalize all those discussions, and then we can make a pronouncement. Don't forget, there is also a ministerial committee that is also working alongside, my ministry in collaborations to see how we can address this. So, and cabinet in terms of the President is in charge of this whole small-scale business to make sure the right thing is done. So most decisions, of course, will be coming from the President.
So cabinet will largely rely on your outfit?
Largely, but it's, this government is an inclusive government that we're running. It's not an independent government. The President doesn't work that way, and this President is working from a multi-ministerial approach, and it's very interesting that he wants the buy-in of every minister. So you might be responsible as a sector minister, but certain decisions you might be responsible, but you need a buy-in from other sectors, and that is how we run in this government. That's exactly what the President is doing.
Are you comfortable with what you've achieved so far, so that you would want to lift it, or you'd want us to go a little bit further?
I think that decision is largely something the Ghanaian people would have to tell us, but I think there's a long way to go. The water bodies they're still not clear. The people are still there. The chamfers are still there. The night operators, now they've learned how to move from day to night. They are there. The Vanguard is catching on them. The small-scale task force is catching on them. So there's still a lot to be done. But in absence of that, we could begin to talk as we're doing now with the small-scale association. Yeah.
So there's a possible extension.
We're having a meeting with them. So, and even today, the Inter-Ministerial Committee is meeting. So maybe after that meeting, we'll really know. A statement will come out. Yeah.
Sector Minister John Peter Amewu there. Now, the Association of Small-Scale Miners are the ones who have been hit the hardest as far as the ban is concerned. And on the telephone now is the General Secretary of the National Association of Small-Scale Miners, Godwin Ama. Sir, thank you very much for your time. I don't know if you heard the Minister. What do you make of his comment about whether or not government is lifting the ban anytime soon?
Okay, thank you and good afternoon. Yeah, no, I have not heard him. But I think we've had some discussions with the ministries concerning the lifting of the ban, and then we put a lot of processes in place. So I'm very optimistic that the ban will be lifted.
Well, what the minister is saying now is that there's an inter-ministerial committee that's sitting on this matter to decide. Government's direction as far as lifting the ban is concerned is not yet clear. What gives you that optimism?
Yeah, because before the ban was extended after the 6 months, the reasons that they gave was with the MMIP the document. So they needed to finish with the document, and then we gave our inputs, we did the validation, and it was approved by Cabinet. Also, the Inter-Ministerial task force against illegal mining, all the district mining committees were also inaugurated. We have Operation Vanguard there on the field. We also have the Small Scale Miners Association, our task force also on the field, which we are collaborating very well with Vanguard and all that. So we don't know what again should be added before the ban will be lifted, because as far as we are concerned, all these are the issues that were raised, and then we all supported government.
Concerning the meeting that you say you've had with the ministry, what is it that you usually discuss?
No, we are looking at the way forward after, with the MMIP documents, we're looking at alternative livelihood programs. We're looking at training of miners, which the training program also, and a lot of small-scale miners has also been trained at UMA. We looked at also reclamation and then land management. We look at mercury use in terms of chemicals that are used within the small-scale mining sector and how we'll be able to improve. And the Minamata, and we talked a lot about the Minamata Convention, how we can practicalize it within the small-scale mining industry. So, and all these things, we put structures in place, the strategies that were put, and how we'll be able to implement it at the grassroots level. And all this, we were able to get solutions, which when we implement, we will see the impact on the ground. In terms of those who are working on the water bodies, they are not members of the association. They are also not licensed miners. So all this is, we say when our members go back and we are working, everyone will not sit idle like they used to do, where people were working and you think you have only your license, so you are just focusing on what you are doing. But it will be a shared responsibility for us all to be able to manage the sector and ensure that our river bodies are
protected. It sounds like a good deal, but when you've had that meeting with officials, do you get the feeling that they see what you're saying now as a good deal as well for the country? For which reason your optimism of the ban being lifted?
Yes, that's why I said, because meeting, or we've met the Inter-Ministerial Task Force, which is led by the Professor Frimpong Boateng.
Okay.
Letters were issued to us so that the association's reps will be on the various district mining committees, which they are there, and then the district mining committees have been formed to manage it at the grassroots level. And every time at the meeting, we all stress and we all agree that the issue of illegal mining can be managed at the district level. Okay, it's a national problem, but mining is done at the various districts. So the district chief executives at the various district assemblies, as part of their KPIs, should manage and ensure that small-scale mining within their districts are properly done. And then they'll be able to reduce or manage illegal mining in their activity. So all these things have been spelled clearly there.
That's where you're getting your optimism from, right?
Yes, everything, because we met all those who matter when it comes to the mining. Minerals Commission now, we've signed, we've had a meeting with the board. We've agreed on a lot of issues. And so I don't know what, again, that's needed to be done for the extension to be. For any extension, we don't see it.
From what you said, would you say, truthfully and sincerely, that the ban that was placed within that period has helped the situation, has dealt with the dire consequences of previous activities of illegal small-scale miners?
Yes, I can say to an extent. You know, if you have combined the Small-Scale Miners Association, our task force alone has and been able to take about more than 5,000 dredges off from the water bodies. And then you watch Vanguard operations, so they've been able to take over 3,500. So you are having about almost 9,000 dredges that have been taken from the various river bodies nationwide. Then you realize that then it's also showing signs that our river bodies are getting better and better. And also the sense of awareness creation. Now you go to mining communities, realize that people are not sitting as spectators anymore. Everyone is really opening their eyes to ensure that people do the right things within their communities by the support that the media has also got. And then licensed small-scale miners have also seen that we all have to come together, partner government, to ensure that the industry is properly managed. So I think the sense of awareness that has been created itself have gone down to the grassroots, and our chiefs and the traditional leaders are also supporting. So that's why I say I don't really see why we are not.
Why the ban shouldn't be lifted.
And we've shown, you know, we've given all that way. For sitting for close to a year, it has a lot of toll on our business. And for us to sit again, then we are saying that Ghanaians who are mining in the small scale, in the mining space, then we are kicking Ghanaians off, which our constitution, the Ghanaian constitution also gives us a clear distinction that government is holding the minerals interest of the people of Ghana. So I think once we put a lot the processes and we set it rolling, we'll be able to mitigate any challenges that come. Because the number of, if you watch within the MIP and then you watch the Minerals Commission as matter of strategies, they are adding more districts, mining districts to what they have, the 9. They are setting satellites, about 12 satellite districts all over, in support of the district mining committee. So, and then the mining wardens and a whole lot have been put in place. So if we don't lay the ban for these people to go, for the small scale miners to go and work, and we want them to sit, I don't know if we can get everything. How then we implement it when we have all this in MFI policy in book, and we say we are extending the ban to do this? How then do we implement? How are we going to operationalize what we've already discussed?
Very well. My final question to you will be that the Operation Vanguard recently complained about what they see as lenient sanctions given to persons who they arrest by the court. Is it a position that's shared by your association as well?
Yes, you know, the task force, you know, we arrested some dredgers around the central region. They were all sent to the police station. The next operation that we did, we rearrested some of the people that were sent to the police. So it's a report that came to our end, and then we sent that report also to the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources, and then we gave some to the Inter-Ministerial Task Force also. Because arresting someone and taking the person off, there was an amendment within the Mining Act, and then it shows the punitive, the fines. You know, we have penalty units, and then the jail terms and all that. It's felt within the amendments. So I think the judicial system should go through that and use that to ensure that these people don't come back to the river bodies or where they are not designated to mine. So it's something that we all share. I think once you are looking at enforcement and making sure that the recalcitrant ones who are still there are arrested, the law should deal with them as it has been sanctioned within the Minerals and Mining Act. Hello. Yeah, hello.
Yes. We'll see what government does about the ban after the Inter-Ministerial Committee does its work.
It should be lifted. I think we stopped it enough. It should be lifted.
Very well. We'll say a very big thanks to you for your time. I've been speaking with Godwin Ama. He's the General Secretary of the Small Scale Miners Association.